So welcome to this opportunity that we're going to be able to take this journey together. I'm Brian Arzani, President of Intermetrics North America and co-founder and Vice President of Results Group. This is going to be an awesome opportunity for us to get to know each other. Even though you're watching this video right now, you're actually getting prepared to do some really cool things with our online psychometric tools. We have behavioral instruments, we have value instruments, and we have instruments that are going to get into what order you think. So why are we doing this? This is to allow you to chart your course and figure out where you want to go, not only as a youth at a high school level or as an adult. There are a lot of different reasons why people get involved and start to take these profiles and instruments. One of the really powerful things to understand is there's not going to be any right or wrong answers. I'm not telling you that to make you feel better. I'm telling you that because that's the truth. What we're trying to help you figure out and discover is really truly what drives you, what causes you to be able to find true fulfillment and joy, and then put the steps in place to allow you to be able to arrive at that. I have been on this journey. I came through the General Electric days in the 90s where I went through these processes and never really understood the why behind the what. Things were done to me, and as I started to learn about this, I started to figure out how we could do it with you. So that's where we're going to be going. Very excited to be able to take this journey with you. So on this journey, one of the things that I want to talk about before we go down the path of taking questions and questionnaires that are online, one of the things to understand is we have this process called the Genius Process. And it's a research project that we did, and we looked at literally 200,000 individuals in 29 different countries to figure out, are there some core talents that we could equate with individuals' ability to perform in life and in a profession and different types of avenues of work. And what we found through the course of that, and if you think about that right now, think about what would you like and under the talents that individuals who were wildly successful, what do you think they'd have? And then the question might be, do you have those talents? Well, here's what I was worried about when I went through these types of programs. I was worried that I wouldn't match up. Maybe that I didn't have the talent that was going to be the key talent. Well, here's the good news. What we found through the course of our research was that there was no correlation between talent and ability to perform in the workforce today. So the good news is this: we measure 80 talents as it relates to performance and human behaviors. What's wild about this is that every single individual that made this upper echelon had all different types of talents, and they also had what we call blind spots. Blind spots are natural core areas that aren't something that we just might do without thinking about. Those are things that take a little bit more energy. What each one of these individuals that made it to this highest level of success all possessed was an acquisition, or they learned two skill sets. They learned how to A, be self-aware, and B, authentic. Authentic means they were committed to be who they were regardless of situation. So when they encountered situations where they were going to be required to be proficient at a blind spot, they immediately identified opportunities where they could either find a person or put a process in place to complement them. What does that mean for you, and what's a good example? Take a second right now and write your name, your first, middle, and last name with your opposite hand. And just experience what that's like. So if you want to push pause right now, push pause and just go through that exercise and then push play. Now, obviously you were able to do it. One of the things that you probably noticed was maybe it was a little bit awkward. The speed at which you did it was maybe not like it would be if it was in your normal hand. See, what's interesting is individuals that are wildly successful recognize opportunities when they're going to be doing that, whether in work, whether in volunteering for different roles or positions, or doing different things, or studying different topics. They recognize that and they say, I'm okay learning new things, but if it's required of me to be doing things that are completely outside of my zone or my genius, I'm not going to try to find a way to get paid to do those things. So a blind spot is something that's natural to us. If my success depends on my proficiency in that blind spot, then I manufacture weakness. So yes, there are strengths and weaknesses, but the vocabulary that we use are natural talents and blind spots. So if my success is requiring me to be good at a blind spot, that's a manufactured weakness. So the good news is this: any profile that you have is going to be wildly successful if you figure out what drives you, what engages you, causes you to get up and say, I can't wait to do that. And you can effortlessly go throughout the day and do those types of things. The key is going to be, how do I objectively find that? So you're going to take a series of questionnaires, and those questionnaires are going to ask you different questions about yourself. Some of those words on there may be easy to understand, and some of them you may have to look up. But here's what I'll tell you right now. Don't worry. Don't get nervous and don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer. In fact, the first thought that comes into your mind is probably going to be the right one. Understand this too. If you go through this process and you get distracted and aren't able to complete the questionnaire in the one sitting, you're gonna have to start back over at the beginning. So make sure you're able to set aside the 15 to 20 minutes of time where you can just focus and be 100% present. One thing I want to stress upon your mind and just impress upon as you go through this process is that you have spent your entire life working to be the perfect you. We're not working to change you or modify you in any way. In fact, quite the opposite. It's about truly becoming more true to yourself. So when we talk about you're perfectly designed to be who you are, that's exactly what we mean. So as we go through this process, that's what we're looking for you to be able to do, is to be able to look inside, talk about what you love to do, what you can lose track of time doing, so that you can do that more often. So when we're talking about this thing called the Genius process, there's two different types of things. There's the energy and output that we have, and then we have the results that we're looking for. What we found among those that were wildly successful, because they were doing things that were in that natural talent set, they found that over time, their energy output went down, meaning they were able to work without putting forth so much effort, but their results actually went up. I spent time in my career doing certain jobs and tasks that were very, very outside and foreign to me. For example, I'm not a really good detail-oriented person. I don't like following lots of structure and rules. And so the more often I was doing those types of tasks, the more energy I was burning just to be able to be average. And so what would happen was my energy level would go up and my results would just stay like this. So as we go through this discussion and as you take your personal journey, we're gonna look to find that ideal sweet spot for you where you could see where your energy level could go down in terms of output, but your results could go up. That's where we're gonna go. I'm super excited to help you get there. Now let's get started.